do it afraid, honestly, because it just, I don't think we should wait till we have the confidence.
We can't.
You can't, because what would you have confidence in?
Right. That's right.
And so I think I have developed a muscle, though, to be okay doing it scared.
Right. Develop a muscle. This is what we talk about all the time, right? If you have an untrained muscle and you know it's untrained, you have to develop the muscle.
Yes. Yeah. And so while I may not be the most confident, especially in my head, right?
Right.
Like in my head, I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
I am the person that is willing to put myself out there and act the part.
Welcome to the Collective Mic, the podcast where women leaders get loud about what really matters. I'm your host, Joyce Tody, founder of Collective Women's Leadership. We are not here for fluff. We're here to lead, build, and rise together. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, building your own brand, or redefining leadership on your terms, this mic is for you. So let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Collective Mic. We're so happy to be back for 2026, and I'm kicking it off with a badass powerhouse in our community, Amanda Ralph, who is the owner and founder of White Coat Aesthetics here in Vegas. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, so we couldn't not have a story, right? We couldn't not feature you on the podcast because you were an intricate part of the community. I feel as though ever since you joined CWL, I see you everywhere at other events. We have similar backgrounds in terms of like friendships, what our motivations are, all of those things. So I know you by trade. We're going to get into all of the nitty gritty about your story and the bold moves that you took that were non-traditional to get out of kind of the RN realm of hospital settings. The bold steps you took, we're going to get into myths about all the things filler and Botox and all of that fun stuff. Your approach, what sets you apart, what's on the horizon. So with that, we'll get started.
I'm so excited.
So here at Collective Mic, I really like to promote women's stories of confidence and boldness. So why don't you just walk us through your kind of traditional education, what happened, what was the aha moments, all of those things?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I initially, of course, started as a nurse. So I did my 4-year degree to become a nurse, a BSN. I did my college in Utah. I'm from here originally, though. I moved back here, started working at St. Rose, did that for a few years. So, yeah, I did the very traditional to-college nursing school route, and I loved it until I basically didn't, unfortunately. I love medicine. I was so interested in learning about it and learning about how to, treat people, and then I got into, like, floor nursing, essentially, and it was just not at all what I hoped that it would be. I loved being able to take care of people, and at the same time, I felt like I could never really take care of people. I was always having to chart and document, and we were getting mad for doing all these other things. I'd be in a patient's room, they'd be talking to me about what they were concerned with or what's going on in their lives, and the entire time my head would be like, I need to go do this. I need to go do this. I have this med pass. I have this med pass. I have to document this. And I just felt like I could never be the kind of nurse I actually wanted to be. So initially I was like, let me become a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
I will stay in medicine, but in a different capacity. The floor nursing is just not my thing. And I decided to go back and get my master's. I went back to school full time, and in the beginning of that decided I need an easier, simpler job while I'm getting my master's. And my sister actually told me about a med spa in Las Vegas that hires nurses to do lasers.
Okay.
This was literally my first introduction to even the possibility. I didn't know, this was over 10 years ago. Botox wasn't talked about like it is now. All of this stuff was just more quiet. People were a lot more.
Secret.
Yes.
No one was talking
People
about
were
the Botox
doing
they
it,
were getting.
but it was private. And so it just wasn't in my, vision, honestly, at all. I decided to apply for this med spa. I got called within like 2 days and got a job in a week.
Oh.
It was just, I think, truly like divine timing. It was like so cool that I got that job. And I did that for about a year. It was all lasers, laser hair removal, laser tattoo removal, cool sculpting devices. So once I got the hang of it, that part wasn't like my passion. But I found right off the bat, I loved sitting and talking to women all day. because that's what it was. It was laser hair removal, which is relatively simple. It's the same thing on every single person, but it was really like sitting there, getting to know these women that I was treating, and just really enjoying that aspect. And then from there, I kind of bounced around. I just wasn't really finding my home, but was hoping I could stay in the industry. I remember it was literally 2-3 years of me being like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a career out of this, but I like it and I would like to.
So when you first started at the med spa, you weren't touching injectables yet?
No.
At all?
No,
you were
just my first year, just lasers.
And to use those lasers, you have to be an RN?
No, actually.
Oh.
This company was a California-based company, and in California they have those laws. Here in Las Vegas, at the time, anyone, literally anyone.
I could do it?
Yes.
That'd be scary.
Literally anyone. And I remember knowing that at that point, thinking like, this is so scary because you can really mess people up with lasers.
Yeah.
And this company, luckily, was really intense, and they provided a lot of education. They paid me to learn all of these things, and they had very strict parameters. But I remember knowing that, like, basically every other med spa in town wasn't having to operate with those same parameters, which there's a lot of places that do it well, but there's a lot of places that do not care and have terrible policies, you know? So yeah, my first year was just lasers. Then I was like kind of getting sick of that job, and I found I needed, actually, this is the next step in my little career, is that I needed to find doctors to follow for my master's. So in order for me to become a nurse practitioner, I had to do so many clinical rotations with doctors, and I didn't have any connections in primary care, which is what this rotation was, because I had worked in a hospital previously with intensivists and all these doctors who were working at higher acuity. So I actually went to Krispy Kreme. I bought 10 Krispy Kreme boxes of, like,
Smart.
the donuts.
You're a sales girl. Sales girl after my own heart.
I printed out my resume.
Smart.
And I dropped, and it's all around here, actually, in the Henderson area. I went to all these primary care doctors, and I just, of course, there's a front desk person I'm talking to. I'm just like, I would really love to be considered. I'm looking for a doctor to follow. This had, in my mind, nothing to do with aesthetics. I just needed to finish this part of my schooling. And I got one call. And it was a doctor in Henderson who had just bought a laser.
Oh.
And he saw on my resume that I was working,
Brilliant,
doing lasers.
There you go.
And he brought me in and he said, would you consider, I will let you shadow me if you teach me how to use this laser.
Great.
And I said, absolutely. And he sent me to the training. And I did a year's worth of stuff for free for him. I mean, I taught his whole staff how to operate and do all these things. But to me, it was like education as well, because he was providing me all this opportunity.
Right.
So I shadowed, he let me do my school hours with him, and then I, in turn, just trained his staff to do whatever he needed to with this small med spa he was creating in his own practice. And from there is where I started injectables.
So this is what I love.
Because he brought some reps in to actually just train him, and I was there on the day, and he was like, Amanda, hop in, let's do it. And I was like, sure. And that's where it started.
You know what I love about this story specifically for our audience, right? So women who follow us and want to make these bold moves, they're so afraid to go pound the pavement, knock on doors, do cold calls, all of these things to really take a chance, because you knew that the opportunity wasn't going to fall in your lap. You knew you had to think of something, the most simple thing. Let me grab 10 boxes of donuts, attach my resume, and go shake hands of people at the front who potentially are the gatekeepers.
For sure.
For sure, the gatekeepers.
Yes.
And people in med sales or med device sales might know this, I think, but people potentially or specifically with your background of being a nurse, zero experience
yes.
of selling, zero experience of like trying to figure out how you're going to get in to some of these. So I commend you for that. And I think people listening can who are wanting to make these bold moves, especially the younger audience or even women who want to get out of their current careers, right? Think of the most simple thing.
Yes.
Get uncomfortable. Figure out the 10 doctors or the 10 people that you want to reach out to. Go shake their hand in person. Bring them, a box of donuts, if you will, and go for it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so easy now to say that. At the time, I had no clue it was going to turn into anything. I was just trying anything. But it's so true. In the traditional aspect of medicine, I mean, you'll be able to find a job as a nurse, right? Sure. It may not be your dream job, but there are tons of jobs out there. It's so different from the aesthetics nursing. And I just was so passionate about it and so interested in it. I was kind of at this place where I'm like, I'm going to do everything I can. And eventually, if I face a wall and it's like, it's just not happening for you, great. But I've always kind of been that person. Like, I'm just like, I'm going to keep trying until basically something tells me, like, absolutely no.
That's how you've always been.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely more like aware of it now, because now I'm actively choosing to do these things.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of it in those terms, but I look back on my career and I'm like, I just chase whatever I'm ready to do.
Good. I
go
love
for
that.
it.
That's the attitude. I chase whatever I'm ready to do. You have to chase.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't sit around expecting it to fall in my lap. No.
It doesn't exist,
No.
right?
No.
So in terms of your background, were you raised with parents selling, or?
My dad is an entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in
Great.
tech mostly. So he had small businesses here in Las Vegas. But what's funny is I never ever thought I would fall in his footsteps. Like, it was never a consideration. My mom was a teacher. I actually really wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
But I think something in high school, I was like, ooh, teachers work really hard, and they are not valued monetarily, right?
Right.
So I think watching her made me realize probably not the career field for me, but I fell in love with medicine and figured I would just go that route. I'm not kidding you, zero aspirations of business ownership,
Sure.
which is funny to me now because I think it's exactly where I'm supposed to be, but I don't know. I didn't have that drive. Like, some kids start businesses in their teen years, but watching my dad definitely influenced me, no question.
Yeah, subconsciously throughout your entire
yes.
life. Pairing his skills, right, his entrepreneur skills with the teaching aspect is actually a beautiful compliment.
Yes.
Because what people take for granted is that educators are so gifted at educating us, right? Which is a form of selling.
Yes.
Right? To get us to really understand the information, to really learn the information, to write about the information that we're being taught. And I think educators are so good at that relationship selling.
Yes.
And then you've got the entrepreneurs who are getting paid for it, who take really bold risks and moves. So you actually had this beautiful pairing of the education and the entrepreneur within your home, which is fantastic.
Yes. And the first med spa I ever worked at was very salesy. So salesy, it was almost slimy. Oh. That's ultimately why I decided to leave. Sometimes they would be selling people things that I'm like, she should not be receiving this treatment.
Right.
But the way that they did it at this office is that the sales team met the patients first. The patients would have already paid for things by the time they even came to me. So then if ever I wanted to say this is not a good fit, then they're having to refund money. Now I'm making my coworker mad. Oh. It was a really not a great environment, which is why ultimately when I opened my business, my whole practice has been educate over sell.
100%.
For me, it's like, I'm going to teach you what this is.
Of course.
This is how it's going to work. This is what it does. If it's not for you, great. No big deal. I'm here to educate you because I still consider myself a medical provider first. And in the med spa industry, unfortunately, it's just not always that way.
And you could tell. You can tell when you walk into places.
Oh, you can feel it.
Who have your best interest at heart, who are asking questions. And what I love about your practice, for those of you who've not been to White Coat Aesthetics and worked with Amanda, what I love is you built a business based on experience, based on giving your clients an experience, and education always first. Mm-hmm. So where did that come into play? Did that come into play naturally, or did that come into play when you worked at your first med spa and knew you just didn't want to do that?
I mean, probably a little bit of both, but the first experience was such a good one for me because in some ways I was like, I can see how they're doing this and this is a great thing. And I think in other ways I was like, I would never treat someone like this. So that was incredible. It informed so much of how I decided to run my practice. And every single time I bring a provider or a staff member on, it is to me, I always explain to them, I am never expecting you to sell something you don't believe in. I actually much rather you tell someone that they're not a candidate than us do a treatment that we don't think is going to work on them.
Right.
So I always like to empower my staff members to do the same. Educate. We're not just trying to sell, and also turn people away if they're not a good fit, because I would rather have a bad review from someone for not treating them than us treating them or treating them poorly or not giving them the results that they deserve. Who wins there?
That's right.
But
Absolutely.
people operate that way. It's a quick buck to just sell everything that you can, right, really quickly.
Which is not sustainable.
Exactly.
You gain no true followers or people who are dedicated to you.
Yes.
So what values, besides obviously the one you've been clear about is not overselling and not being too salesy, definitely education first. So what are some non-negotiables for you when you started creating your brand, White Aesthetics? White Coat Aesthetics. What are some of those non-negotiables when you said, here's the name of my company and this is the brand I'm establishing, and I know that you're in this growth momentum stage, which you'll walk us through later, but what are your non-negotiables when it comes to your branding, and how did you approach that? Because the personal brand is such a big topic right now. People often confuse their personal brand with their business when they are not different. So when I talk to the mentees that I have, or businesses, right, who you are as Amanda is also who your business is.
Yes.
Right. So how did you approach that before it was like this cool term that everyone's talking about now?
In the very beginning, I knew I really wanted to lean towards more of the natural. For me, that was very important. I think Las Vegas had a name for itself, kind of being the more exaggerated look, right?
Right.
Nothing wrong with that, not necessarily what I'm interested in. So there were just a lot of med spas really catering towards the overdone, that sort of a look. So very early on, it was a big deal for me to like stay natural, to the point where I would not post any before and afters of anyone that like wasn't the kind of look I'm trying to achieve. Because of course, in the beginning, when I'm new and I need money, I'm like, I'll do anyone's lips.
You had to do it.
Years into it now, I turn people away. I'm like, look, it's just not my thing. When they have a huge lip and they want me to add more, I'm like, I really just phrase it like, it's just not what I do. I think you should go to someone who's really good at that sort of a lip. But definitely honesty, integrity, those are just huge for me. It's all about education over sales. And I'm just big on treat people how you want to be treated. It's just such a basic concept. But to me, it's like I've always said this, is that there's absolutely no reason to be rude.
No.
This is coming from my staff to the patients and vice versa. I will let go of clients if they're rude to my front desk staff or they're not a good fit for a med spa. For me, it's like, you're spending a lot of money for what you're doing here. I want you to feel like it is the best experience of your life. And from the very beginning, even on our website and everything, all of it matters to me. I want it to feel like it is worth your time and your money.
Yeah.
Because it is a high value service, and that's what it should be. There are places, the first place I worked at was very Groupon heavy. Tons of people coming in just wanting a discount. They don't really care how good it is. They just want it to be the cheapest it can possibly be. But those people were also just never happy.
Sure.
And they complained the most. And it was just always like threatened to leave you a bad review. It was just a lot of like drama and negativity. And I just always wanted to create a business that was so far above that.
Getting into that, I love that, because you also you set yourself apart from the very beginning, and your education and how you were educating yourself never stopped. In fact, you're an educator for some brands that you can talk about, and you do travel. And I love that, because you're always up on the trends, up on the latest techniques. How do you continue? So tell the audience about what does set you apart and what you pride yourself on, which I love, and how educated you are in this space.
Yes. Well, the thing about medical aesthetics is it's a very new science. I mean, really, we're talking the earliest treatments were in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Okay, which is not very long ago. And more than that, we're also constantly learning more and more and more about what they initially introduced. I mean, there's some things that have been introduced that are now completely gone. No one will do them anymore. And every year, there's a lot of money in this industry. New things are coming out. New lasers, new injectables. I think when I first started, I just wanted to get good, of course. I just wanted to be a good injector. But then the more trainings I went to, which I really prioritized, I spent a lot of money in trainings. I just felt like I will never be the injector that gets to a place where I'm like, I'm good. I've learned the training. Like, I've learned the techniques.
Yeah.
I know what's out there. Like, I just feel like with how ever changing it is, it's my responsibility as an owner to know what is safe, what is the best outcome, what is the best treatment. I am also very slow to adopt early things that are very new. Because in my 10 years in this industry, I have seen things come to market and within a year be out because of all the issues.
Wow.
So I tend to wait a year or two once something has been introduced to see how I really like it, or what other people are saying. Because I hate to use my clients as guinea pigs. I'm like, you guys let me know if that's good, and then I will bring it on. But I don't know. I value education. Like, I mean, from the very beginning, my mom is a teacher. I was also really, really into school. I was a valedictorian in my high school. I love learning.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
actually one of my passions.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's hard for me. I actually enjoy it. And then I have been really, for years, really wanting to become an educator. I got a job this year with Allergan Aesthetics, which is the biggest aesthetics company in the nation. They own Botox and Juvederm fillers. And this year I was lucky enough to get a position with them, and I now train nationally for them, and it's a dream. I love it. They educate me. They give me all these opportunities to be educated further, and then also it allows me to share what I learn. I feel like the first few years of my journey, I felt completely alone. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone that I knew with experience in this field. I was just by myself, figuring it out, doing it, and I have no reason like not to share. I'm happy to tell everyone what I did and how I did it and what I would tell you to do to be better.
Right.
I teach at a school here also. It's called NEMA. It's mostly an esthetician school, but they do injectable courses, so I'll go in and do those. I just love it. And in my new location, I'm actually building out a conference room to do more education because
congratulations.
it's just a big passion of mine. I love teaching.
Yeah. I wanted to highlight that because it's something that I think is, you could I think you could exploit it more with your stories that you tell in terms of like your online. Not that you're asking for my opinion in that, but
give it to me, please.
No, but I think
I'll take anything.
It sets you apart because it's such a saturated market, as you know, and your approach I love because you're constantly talking about the education piece in terms of how you were educated, what the newest not trends, but what the latest expectations are in terms of injecting. So I think it's huge.
Thank you.
I really value that part of your content is the education piece.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Confidence and identity. So you are young in terms of like how long you've been in this industry, but you are a bold powerhouse in every sense of the word. I look up to you. I admire you. And this confidence piece and identity piece comes up often with a lot of young emerging leaders, right? So if you have young nurses who've been on the floor in their typical roles because this is what they went to school for, and now it's just not clicking for them. They thought they loved nursing. So confidence means different things to different women. In your role, when you had to have the confidence to get out of it, right? How do you define confidence for someone of your generation?
It's a good question. I mean, I don't know that I would say I even really had the confidence. I just think I had this like willing to do it afraid.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, do it afraid.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's my biggest, I feel like that's kind of a recurring motto for me.
Say it to the camera. Say it to the audience.
Do it afraid. Honestly, because it just, I don't think we should wait till we have the confidence.
We can't.
You can't, because what would you have confidence in?
Right. That's right.
And so I think I have developed a muscle, though, to be okay doing it scared.
Right. Develop a muscle. This is what we talk about all the time, right? If you have an untrained muscle and you know it's untrained, you have to develop the muscle.
Yes. Yeah. And so while I may not be the most confident, especially in my head, right? Like in my head, I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
I am the person that is willing to put myself out there and act the part.
Yeah.
Because I don't think confidence can really come until you basically prove it to yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I've noticed within my own journey is that because of things I have faced, now I am so much more willing to take different risks.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I did it before. And I think a lot of it is self-trust.
Sure.
This concept of trusting in yourself that regardless of whatever the outcome is, you still have your back.
Right.
So if it fails, if it goes great, like you're still there for yourself. You're never going to let yourself down. So you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's what I think I kind of have and have built.
And through aesthetics, and I know it's probably a very interesting topic, right? But through aesthetics, have you helped women gain confidence? And this is going to be a really controversial topic, right?
Yes.
Because we're going to have people that say you don't need injectables to be confident.
Yes.
I am not saying that at all. Don't spin my words out of control. But I'd love to know from a practicing professional of all of the women that you've seen over the course of the years.
Yes.
How the discussions you have with them, how they see themselves, what transformations do you see and excitement do you see from these women who come to you maybe 3, 6, 9 months later and say, look at me, I feel so much better about myself. Not necessarily because there was anything wrong to them.
Absolutely.
There was nothing wrong from them in the beginning. So talk me through that.
Yes. And what's funny is I'm so comfortable with it now. It doesn't faze me at all. But when I first started in the industry, that was my biggest fears. And I'm like, people are going to think I'm so crazy that I think something's wrong with them. This whole feminist conversation. Because I would never, ever want to make someone feel like they need to do anything to how they look. What I will say about that is just, one, at my nature, I actually really love beauty. Yeah, I just love it. I like to do makeup. I like to do my hair. These are not things I feel forced to do. If you're someone who doesn't like it, don't do it.
Right, of course.
That's no stress for me, right? It's something I personally love. What I will also say, women, we have a lot more pressure on us when we age than men do. Yeah. It's just point blank period. We have so much more pressure. Society doesn't allow us to age normally. It just doesn't. All of a sudden, we stop getting taken seriously. Yep. People aren't paying attention to us. I know this because I hear it every single day. I feel like every day in my room, it is a lot of psychology and it is a lot of conversation with my patients. And I'm hearing the same things from women every day to the point where I feel like I'm looking forward at what I'm going to experience, right? I know what it is to be a woman, especially public facing and to age. It is not fair. Men are called silver foxes. They're allowed to have wrinkles. We like them better when they have some gray hair and some wrinkles around the eyes. It's not like that for women. No. And as much as we can try and be positive and be grateful and love ourselves, it's how you're treated in the dating field. It's how you're treated in the workforce. It is how you feel about yourself. And so that's what I look at, is that it's like, I'm not trying to give you a face you don't have, and you don't need a face you don't have. I actually spend the first part of my full face consultation with my patients talking about the positive. I always like to say, what do you love about your face? What's your favorite feature? Right. That tells me a few things. One, it's like I have my patients who are truly body dysmorphic, and that's an actual disorder that there's nothing I can do to fix.
Is there a face dysmorphic too?
For sure. I mean, people will come in and say, I don't like a single thing about my face.
What?
Yes. And at that point, I'm like,
oh, no.
There's nothing I can do for that. We have some internal things we need to work on, because I can look at you and tell you 7 things that are amazing about every single patient I have is beautiful. Right. It's just we all have very different face features. So I care a lot about the psychology actually behind it, because I have some younger clients where I've had to say, do we actually feel like we need to do all of this right now, or what's going on with you? And I just say in a really non-judgmental, open way. And I've had patients who say, I just feel like all my friends are doing it, and so I don't know if I should be doing it. And,
the younger.
And I'm quick to be like, we don't really need to, but don't go anywhere else because you'll find someone to do it. And then I just say, come back to me every year. I'll be honest with you. If there's anything I actually feel like we can do without aging you prematurely, because that's a whole nother issue in this younger generation. It does.
It does happen.
I don't know. I'm really big on the ethics of it all, but I just think if you want to look better and just more rejuvenated and less tired, there's nothing wrong with that. Right. And you deserve to take care of yourself. Women do so much.
For everyone else.
For everyone else. Yeah. And to me, this is like, who doesn't want to feel a little bit better? Yeah. And it is fun. Recently, I've been posting a lot more before and afters of people who have been coming to me 3, 4, 5 years, so I can show people, you're not going to look crazy. You're not going to look overfilled or puffy or different. It is just going to be you rejuvenated.
That's right.
You should just continue to look how you want to look.
And they'll still feel authentic to themselves, which I think is the most important. And I will continue to say that's what I appreciate about you so much and your approach. I do think there is this unrealistic expectation on this younger generation who they don't have any, they're flawless. They're filled with natural collagen, because when we all look back, my face was so round because I had all this beautiful collagen that's, slowly leaving. But what I find so interesting about this younger generation and so sad is that they don't necessarily want it, but to your point, their friends are doing it. And these influencers are doing it.
It's hard.
And everyone that they see on their feed of all social media is filled with, and everyone's filtered.
Yes.
Everyone's
Yes,
filtered.
it's true, which is one thing from day one. I said I will not filter anything I post.
Right.
Because as your injector, I feel it's a responsibility to show you real.
Smart.
I have stuff on in my face, absolutely, but I am also not going to give this fake illusion that I'm absolutely perfect or that like I don't have days where I look a little bit worse than others. I mean, I have still a normal face. I want everyone to look normal.
That was a part of when CWL launched. I wanted it to be so authentic that nothing that we post is filtered.
See, it's actually huge for me. And it's actually for me, I think, so unethical for med spas.
Oh.
It's if we are actively trying to sell you something that changes face, skin tone, all these things, and then we're filtering and telling you that that's what it does. I don't think it really should be legal. But
so the med spas filter what
there's
they're
med spas
posting?
for sure. Injectors that will, filter their own faces when they're talking for sure.
Fascinating.
I see it all the time.
Well, yeah, sure. Wow. I wish we could just get out of
I know.
that. It's
but
such
it's cool. I
insanity.
appreciate you saying I didn't know that, but I feel so strongly about that.
Yeah, we don't filter anything.
And also, like, how can you keep that up? Because then you'll never like how you look. I don't like to use filters, period, because I feel like it will always take how I think I look.
Right.
It's like as if you when you have lash extensions for a long time. I had them for a while, and then you get them off and you just feel ugly for a long time because you're just getting used to having regular eyelashes. It's like that, but your whole face?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
tough.
No, it is interesting. So leadership and growth. So what has entrepreneurship taught you about yourself that you didn't know, specifically in the season you're in now, which I'm kind of teasing it, which is what we're going to get into. But entrepreneurship, right? Our collective women's leadership audience is so vast, and we're growing on this platform. But that's a growth that's happening. But I really encourage our listeners to forward this to friends, colleagues, daughters, sisters, mothers who've been miserable in their career. Maybe they're so great, but knowing and have the confidence of knowing that their skills are transferable, and here's what entrepreneurship will teach you about yourself. I definitely have a laundry list for me, and I love to hear from other entrepreneurs sitting across from me. What were your biggest surprises?
Oh, so many.
Right, so many.
I'm so grateful for entrepreneurship. Like I said, it wasn't something I necessarily saw myself doing, and now that I've been in this industry, I'm like, wow, I feel like it's just a masterclass in how to be a better human. I mean, it's taught me so much about resilience, patience, just like I said, doing things scared, doing things, having zero clue how to do those things.
That's right. Just do it.
I feel like I've learned this, like, I don't know how to do it, but I will figure it out.
That's right.
And that's kind of like, I may not know how exactly I'm supposed to do this right now, but I know how to ask questions. I know who, like, even if I don't know who to ask, I'll just start asking anyone. Someone's going to help me.
Yeah.
So I do think it's kind of taught me this way to just kind of like go for it, even when I don't feel prepared. Whereas previously in my life, everything had to be so perfect for me to
That's the issue.
attempt it. And I think that is the issue, is that it's like you have to be afraid of not taking the step rather than like waiting for everything to be so perfect, because the time will pass you by.
That's the issue that 99% of women have.
Yeah, and I had it myself.
They want everything to be perfect online before they post.
Yes.
What are people going to think of it? And I always ask the question, like, who's they? Who? Like, your cousin? Like, who do you care what they think? Who's they?
Totally.
And I've been always, thank goodness I was born, like, without that gene of, like, giving two shits, like, what anyone thinks. I don't know where it came from, because I was not raised that way.
That's amazing.
So, but it is bizarre. I don't even know how to teach it. I'm trying to figure out how to teach it.
Yes.
The best I can.
Yes.
But it's through the confidence muscle that I'm leaning toward that. This is the best analogy. What is a leadership lesson you had to learn the really hard way? Because we're sitting here talking about all these great things, but what is something like you've fell on your face and had to, if you're comfortable sharing, or even use an analogy that
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I definitely made some, like, a lot of it is just like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to try some things out. Not everything worked. I did some print marketing that did nothing for me.
Money. And a lot of it's money based.
Yeah. Like attempting things. I mean, our first round of brochures ever, I designed myself on Microsoft Word.
Stop it.
Yes.
On Word.
On Word. Okay, I don't
What
know.
else was there?
There was no
no Canva.
No.
There was no AI.
No, and also I didn't have anyone on my team that would know these other things better, and I had never had to design anything like this. And then I wrote the number wrong, our phone number.
Oh no! You spent a couple $1,000s getting it all printed.
And at this point, I was so scared.
Did you
Every dollar I spent felt sick. You know?
X it out with
Sharpie.
Heck yeah!
And I redid the number.
Of course, that's all you can do.
And I love that story now, and I just
Did you
laugh
keep
at
one?
it. Oh yeah,
and frame it.
Yes, and every couple years I'll pull it out and talk about it on the stories because I just think it's so funny. But it was at the time devastating when I got that in the mail and I realized I was like, for how long I spent on that brochure to get the number wrong on Word,
on Microsoft Word,
which is not meant to do this.
Brilliant.
It was really tough, and I think we've had some pretty steady, consistent growth. I just think it was like learning to weather the storm of the patients because it did take some time. The first 2 years were slow, and I really was terrified the whole time that like we weren't going to be able to make it work. But I just felt like I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to do everything in my power to make it work. And one of the years early on, maybe year 2, 3, I just remember thinking, I think it was year 2, I was like, I am going to show up on social media every week. And I just set this expectation to myself: if I do not show up on social media, I will never feel confident that I did everything I could, you know?
You wouldn't have a business.
No. And before this, I did not want to be on social media. It was not a natural. Yes.
Who wants to be on social media?
I know, but I think people think that some people just love it and are natural at it.
It's not a thing.
And I want to explain to people, like, I wasn't that person. I actually would have been so happy never posting, but I felt like this is an opportunity I am not going to waste. And I love it now. And also, people now come to me like, I trust you. I've seen all your videos. Do whatever you want. And
That's
I'm like,
why.
what? Really?
I just spoke about this on Friday. So I just spoke about this on Friday. I never set out to be a keynote speaker. Definitely not was in any cards of what collective women's leadership is. But after people have seen me for 2 years, every single day showing up on social media, showing up on LinkedIn, showing up doing all the things, having a camera crew, all of the things, I'm now being tapped to be this keynote speaker because of people who've been watching for 2 years. So the phone rings and they say, Joyce, this is so-and-so. We used to be, I've known you peripherally through XYZ, and I've been watching you on LinkedIn and social media for the last 2 years. Can I hire you to be a keynote speaker? This is how this happened.
Amazing.
And I was like, what? A keynote speaker? Sure, yes, you can hire me. And I went back, talked to my team, and I said, I guess I'm a keynote speaker, throw this price out. They gladly paid it because they've seen me do this. Well, they see that the way I show up online is who I am publicly speaking, which are not the same.
Yes, and what I would say is, like, for me, from seeing all of your stuff, I think, of course. Are you not keynote speaking all the time? To me, it's like, absolutely, you should be.
But it's fascinating because it goes back to your point. When your patients walk in, and new patients who are like, I trust you, I watch you, do whatever you need to do to my face, right? Mm-hmm. It's through the relationship that you built online.
Yes.
And so I talk to business owners about this all of the time. If you have a small business, if you're trying to promote something, anything, if you have a brick and mortar business, an online business, whatever type of business you have, the longer you wait to get onto social media, the longer your business will struggle, right?
Yes.
So you have to be okay with being uncomfortable, like we've talked about this entire session, in terms of really growing that muscle, getting on there and talking about your story. Because the data is showing that in this AI-generated mess that we're in on all things coming at us, what people really value is unfiltered, real-life conversations and connectivity.
Yes. Someone told me early on, people don't like to follow businesses. They like to follow people.
That's right.
And so early on, I felt like, okay. And I love following female business owners. It's actually my favorite people to follow. Mm-hmm. The women in town who have businesses who are doing it. It's like the funnest for me. I love that. It's so inspiring. And so I was like, all right, then I will do it. And I will show up and I will talk about what we offer and I will discuss things. And I try and do what I'm inspired to talk about. I'm not great at keeping up with a very strict thing. Yeah. If it's not what I'm interested in talking about, it's clear.
Right.
So I try and discuss things that are interesting to me. And of course, it goes in waves. I'm not perfect, but it's true. I mean, my business has 100% grown because of social media, no question.
100%.
And we spend almost no money on marketing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, we will for sure when we have more space. But like over the last 2 years, my CFO is like, you guys spend less than basically anyone. I'm like, it's the power of social media.
It is.
It really is.
It's free to do what we're putting out. So why not use it?
Yes.
Brilliant. So what I've not mentioned is you're a mother.
Yeah.
And a wife, which I probably should have mentioned at the beginning, because people are like, wow, she's a badass and I can do this. But not only are you so successful, but you also have a family and young children. So what keeps you grounded as your business grows, because you have responsibilities also in the home?
Yes. I mean, I think having kids keeps me grounded.
Yes.
I had my daughter the first year we opened, which is so crazy. But I feel like it was so good for me because I'm the kind of personality that could get just obsessed and like addicted to my work. And I feel like it kept me realizing that this is not absolutely everything. And so then I feel like it gave me something else to enjoy and to be present with and to be grounded and also something to work harder for. So I think, honestly, becoming a mom helped me. Obviously, it's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. There's a lot of, moving parts at once, but I enjoy both aspects more because they're both present.
Yeah.
I enjoy my job more because it's so much easier than being home with two kids.
That's exactly right.
And I love my kids because I have the fun and they're present and I'm here with them, not always thinking about work. Yeah. It's a constant balance. I'm always working on it.
Yeah.
But to be able to take my kids to Disneyland and go all out and to be able to go do these trips with them, like it is so well worth it.
Yeah. 100%. I love that.
It's the best.
Good for you.
Thank you.
So we're going to do a fun rapid fire round that I like to do. So one confidence myth you'd love to bust about injectables or any enhancements.
I think just that it's going to make you look fake. That anything to your face will make you look fake. Botox relaxes muscle movement, so it prevents wrinkles from forming. What it is doing is keeping you looking like you did before wrinkles.
Right.
And same thing with filler, honestly. To make you look fake is way too much, way too often. If you're doing the right amount and the right timeline with that and going to an injector you trust, you're going to look fine.
Right. Your go-to self-care non-negotiable.
I love my red light mask.
It's the best.
I love it.
Hey, you should come to another place and lay in the red light bed.
Yeah, I'm going to. I have my little package.
I didn't even shamelessly plug myself.
I love it. I mean, it's a mental thing for me too. So I'm helping my skin. I wake up at 5 a.m. and that's my first thing I do.
Do you know it's fixed my need for reading glasses?
No.
So I lay in the bed without the goggles on.
Well, what's funny is people were saying to me, is it safe with the eyes? Safe with the eyes. So I started looking into it. I'm like, it's actually used as a treatment for your eyes. So it's absolutely amazing for the eyes.
Yes.
I believe that. That's so cool.
Something people would be surprised to learn about you.
I'm big into manifestation.
Love that.
It's something I've been wanting to talk about more on my stories because it's become such a big part of my life. Smart. And I don't discuss it much because I don't want people to think I'm like crazy woo-woo, but I really believe in the power of manifestation.
Great. Yeah, I do too. It does work, by the way.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. What makes you feel most powerful?
I think just knowing that I'm taking care of the staff of women.
Yeah.
Like that's a big one for me, that I'm like, what I have built is taking care of these 10 women that I love.
Yeah.
That like take their time out of their day to take care of other women. Like it's a really enjoyable environment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah. Giving back and mentoring them.
Yes.
And all of those things. So what is on the horizon? So I'd love for you to walk the audience through kind of where you're at now, your huge step that you're making, and how far you've come.
Yes. So we are in obviously a med spa here in Summerlin, and I have been there since 2019. This is our 7th year. But I am currently buying a building that we are newly constructing and designing to move our business into over the summer. It's going to be over double the size. I'm going to be doing a big conference room for education. I'm going to be trying to bring on more classes, more training opportunities. I get interest from injectors all over and in this city trying to learn more about it. And yeah, just being able to take care of more women. It's my dream.
Where's the new space going to be?
It's in the Southwest, off of Jones and 215.
Great.
And it's just a complete new build area. So there's just a lot of new office buildings going in this area, and we're excited for it.
Congratulations.
It's been a journey It has been a journey, but it's going to be amazing.
Well, if anyone could do it, you can.
Thank you.
Right? Exuding confidence. What advice would you give women who are just afraid, right? Who are afraid to take the leap, afraid to get out of nursing, afraid to get out of their 9-to-5 and crush the entrepreneurial dream? So what is your go-to advice typically?
You know what? I would say I would sit down. I would sit down and kind of feel into yourself and just first figure out where you'd like to go.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have a perfect end goal, but just a general idea. And then like you said, just focus on taking the next right step.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to have that first vision in mind, because I don't think you're going to be aligned and have the good movement forward if you kind of don't know exactly where you're going to go. I recently have heard of this concept I really enjoy, and it's like, take the most laughably small step every single day. It may seem really silly, but if you are doing laughably small steps every single day, that's beating out waiting 2-3 months to do something a little bit bigger.
Right.
Take the next right step. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have it all figured out, and that's okay. No one did. No one ever did.
No one.
So just take the next right step in the direction of where you're going, and then continue to learn off and grow off of that and keep going forward.
Well, I cannot thank you enough for this conversation.
Of course.
I hope the audience took this out of it, that confidence is not about perfection.
Absolutely.
Not in anything.
Absolutely.
It's about practice. It's about taking a leap and taking risks. And I love talking to powerful women of our community. You are one of them. So if you want to follow Amanda and White Coat Aesthetics, just tell the audience how they find you.
Yes. So I'm on most social media platforms with my business. It's called White Coat Aesthetics. And I have my educational page, AmandaRalph_NP.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I do want to say, if I can have a quick minute, I have loved getting to know you over the last year. I have loved being a part of Collective Women's Leadership. It is everything I was looking for in a women's group, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who wants to join it. I love it so much.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. I hope you loved this episode as much as I did. For more tips on elevating your leadership, please follow us on Instagram, Collective Women's Leadership, or visit our website, collectivewomensleadership.com. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.